We have just seen the first ever appearance of the Illuminati in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We're going to talk about what that means for our regular heroes in the 616 right now. What's up, everybody? Rob and Chris here from the Jersey Comic Crew. Hope you're having a fantastic day, evening, morning, whatever time you're watching this.
Whatever.
And obviously, this is your spoiler warning. We're talking Multiverse of Madness, the Illuminati, which was in the movie. So if you don't want any theories or like spoilers on the movie, make sure to go watch the movie, then come back here. Now, Chris, like I just said, very exciting to see the Illuminati on the big screen. We saw Charles Xavier and the 92 X-Men Go chair. We saw Black Bolt, same actor from that failed TV show that we're not going to talk about anymore.
No.
We saw Captain Carter from the What If universe. We saw Baron Mordo, who's the Sorcerer Supreme of this universe, is on the seat, and he's still alive at the end of the movie. We saw Mr. Fantastic. That's right. John Krasinski actually became that fan cast dream that came true. And we saw Captain Marvel, Maria Rambeau, get that spotlight, get the superhero treatment. Very cool to see all these characters on the big screen. But that brings us to, what does this mean for the MCU, Chris? Does this mean that we're going to get some hints on Doctor Strange making his own Illuminati like in the comics by Jonathan Hickman? Maybe they're going to have some kind of lesson being learned from this and we're going to avoid it. Where do you think we're going to land on that spectrum?
I think this is kind of leading towards that. I think Strange is someone who is extremely intelligent, obviously, right? But it's someone who learns quickly. He beat Thanos by going into 14 million different universes and figuring out the one way to defeat him. I think if he thinks an Illuminati is necessary or may help the 616, then he will create it himself. And I wonder if this is also the catalyst pushing forward the narrative of, are we going to see some type of Secret Wars by the end of this saga?
Ooh.
We know the first 3 phases are the Infinity Saga.
Yeah.
That's the overall storyline, right? Obviously, there's going to be another one pertaining to these phases 4, 5,
Sure.
maybe even phase 6 that involve, we know, Kang, maybe some other big hitter villains, and probably will end with Secret Wars because everything we're doing right now involves the multiverse. And guys, Secret Wars is all about the multiverse. It ends with all the worlds colliding. Incursions are just the beginning, as Clea said, and it ends with a battle world of different worlds colliding, which ends with Doctor Doom kind of controlling everything as a god, and Spider-Man getting the black suit, Rob. But we have a lot to go from there to where we might be ending up, but I think definitely this is the first step.
I have a hot take here. I think the fact that we see the Illuminati means we're not getting them. I feel like we're done. I feel like Marvel's like, here, you had the Illuminati for a second. We're not going to touch upon it. We don't need to.
Pure
the Illuminati,
fan service?
100. The Illuminati wasn't needed in this movie. I could have done without it. Didn't add anything except fan service. You could have done all of that without it and simpler, and you could have buffed up other areas of the plot in the movie.
But then how do you delay Wanda's crazy in there?
Another Doctor Strange, bro. You could have just had a Doctor Strange who's stronger, who's testing it out. You don't need the Illuminati. And the Illuminati, did they really hold her back? No. They all died in 2 seconds, except
they died, but like, why not have the fan service? Like, why are you upset about the happy moment? The one great moment of this film.
What I'm saying is that the Illuminati was fan service, but it wasn't needed or integral for the movie. Is the point I'm trying to get? Like, it's fantastic. I'm glad it did. We could have easily done without it and maybe made a more local, centralized story, which is obviously what they were going for with this. I enjoyed seeing the Illuminati, but the fact that we have the Illuminati here means, okay, we're not going to touch upon this again. I don't think we're going to do this. The fact that, like, in the mainline comics, we have, like, Namor, Iron Man, all these big hitters that are core Illuminati members there and established makes sense. In this universe, it's not. Who are you going to have as the Illuminati? Doctor Strange and, what, the Hulk? That's it? And when Hulk is supposed to go in this arc, they get sent away to Battle World and becomes World War Hulk and do all that kind of stuff, which we already touched upon. They're not going to do the Illuminati. As much as I love it, I'm breaking the bubble right now. It's not going to happen. They're going to do their own style and move forward. It's just unfortunate that because we got the fan service here, they're not going to do it again later.
We don't know that. Like, that's a very declarative statement.
I'm
no idea what they're going to do. Well, I might have to put that money on the bet because I think this movie hinted a lot of what we might see, right? Marvel is known for hinting at future projects, known for hiding the secrets within the details, almost blatantly so, right? Regardless of what they do, the tricks with trailers and certain character faces on things or whatever they're doing. I think they hid kind of the meat and potatoes, as you like to say, in the details of this film that aren't just the scene of the Illuminati, right? So the scene where America and Strange are falling through the multiverse and you see all these different worlds. We hit a couple that were very recognizable immediately. One was the living tribunal heads out in space, cool. Which I thought was more of a connection to possibly doing Secret Wars, because I feel like that's the catalyst for how the worlds get judged and all that other cosmic deity things. But he hit another couple worlds that were very much characters that haven't been revealed yet, but we kind of know are coming.
Who?
One of them was a water world with a bunch of fish that like flew out with them.
Yeah.
If that's not Namor, I don't know what is. Namor is a classic Illuminati character.
True.
The other one was a dinosaur world in a jungle. That to me was the Savage Land X-Men. So regardless if that's Charles Xavier or one of the other 50,000 X-Men, that is a clear hint at mutants. Mutants are going to be a focal point, we know eventually. I think that's a big hint as well.
I love that theory, and it brings me so much joy to see that we're on the opposite sides of the table with this, because you're sitting there all hopeful and optimistic, and maybe I took the same kind of medicine you took this morning, but to me I was like, all right, cool, living tribunal, that's a great fan service, a wow moment. You see the Savage Lands are dinosaurs, right? Dinosaurs are eye-catchy. Savage Land, you're gonna think, oh, maybe X-Men connections. This water world, you're gonna think of Namor, but to talk about Namor. When realistically, those are just cool graphics. Those are just cool things that travel through. After sitting on this for a while before we recorded this video, and looking at the history of Marvel has the ability to go widespread and go crazy, but they always prefer the local centralized story, right? It's more, not necessarily toned down, but it's more grounded in reality. So seeing the Living Tribunal, it's fantastic. Oh my God, maybe that connects to all this kind of stuff. When in reality, they just did that for fan service and all this kind of stuff. I think Marvel loves to like give hints and teases and allows us to go on the wild spectrum. But every movie and every piece of content they put out is all grounded in realism, or it's grounded in a more localized, centralized story, which does well, and it does very well. We think of Loki, right? And we're thinking, oh my God, it's going to be crazy, world-bending. Kind of is with Kang at the end, which we knew was coming. But the whole time we're thinking Mephisto, because they're dropping all these hints and all this little stuff. I think this is just Marvel doing what Marvel does best, putting in those little teases and Easter eggs to allow us to have these wild visions while they still continue to move forward on their own vision without getting criticism.
They're going to get criticism no matter what, right? Like that's just the way of the world. I think, some of them could totally just be Easter eggs for the Uber fans who go to these movies and look for stuff like me and you. But I think also there's a lot bigger picture that none of us see, that only Feige really knows. There's a Guardians 3 coming out in a couple years. We have Thor in a couple months. That's all cosmic, massive stuff. Loki was a centralized show, but also had kind of like the Beyonder deity stuff going on at the same time. So yes, you can have your cake and eat it too with a centralized, focused story that also has cosmic effect, right? All this is because, Sylvie killed a guy, which is a very small piece of the puzzle and may not matter to the immediate, but will have a ripple effect for the rest of these movies. So I think there is a chance that we either see some form of these characters create some type of tribunal Illuminati. They may not call it the Illuminati because Strange is like, I just saw what that did and that did not work. You know what I mean? But I feel like Hickman's story recently is so integral to how the Marvel Universe went forward in the comics. And basically what he did was he remade the Illuminati, took all the smartest minds as well as some of the best moral figures, like Captain America was a part of the Illuminati. Mm-hmm. But the smarter minds brainwashed Captain America to forget everything so they can make the decisions that they wanted to make anyway.
Yeah.
I think stuff like that could be integral to some of these stories when you're talking about Marvel characters as the complex human characters that have human flaws. Whether you're bringing in Mr. Fantastic and the Fantastic Four eventually, all that stuff is great, and they still have to stand up on their own legs. I totally get that, right? Those stories have to be stories on their own to live. When it comes to the overall plan, I still think we don't know. I think there's a lot that could be done with this quote-unquote Illuminati, which we'll call it, right? To kind of meet in the middle here. Yeah. These characters that haven't been brought to the front yet and haven't been shown yet have so much potential. The other biggest question to me is, there was a 7th seat or a 6th seat on that dais. you have Professor X doesn't need a chair. He has a portable chair. Who did that seat belong to? Maybe in that universe it was Hank Pym or Tony Stark, because we saw the Ultron sentries, right?
Yeah, I think it's one of those.
Maybe one of those. But I keep thinking Black Panther. And I don't know why I keep thinking Black Panther, because
that would be nice.
We have a second Black Panther movie coming out, Rob, that we've talked about a couple times here, and there's no Black Panther in it. If this is going to be the movie we all think it is, where Wakanda is now going to be the central of this Game of Thrones where everyone's coming for the vibranium, there needs to be some type of council of something, right?
Sure.
Like, whether it's heroes protecting it, or there's kind of this like overwhelming need for something to happen like this. I'm really wondering if this is going to be a real thing, because I think it's going to be more than just like the Council of Kangs destroying everything.
I think it's more along the lines of he's going to have more of an input in the Avengers and choosing them and like being like a guiding force to see what a group can do right and wrong. I think it's more along that lines versus creating a secret organization. Because I think by the end of the movie, he learned that like all strangers can't be the same. I have to be different, otherwise things are gonna happen. I think the whole idea of the Illuminati and Strange being involved in whether it's an Illuminati or being involved in creating his own Avengers or the Avengers, any kind of team aspect, I think that's so far down the line it's not even worth thinking about, because he's already gone in Doctor Strange 3, right? In Doctor Strange 3, at the after credit scene, he's going to go into Dark Dimension, right? We have no idea how long that's going to be. And all this other multi-level surface stuff. I think if we're going to get a team formation for the new thing, it's going to happen without Doctor Strange's input. And it's going to happen before he comes back into this world. I think it's going to be Falcon creating a team, and he's just going to have to move forward with that. But talking a little bit about what you were saying with Black Panther, right? With the 7th seat, he's not there. And we know we're getting a Black Panther 2 and a Wakanda show. What's going to happen? I could see the multiverse issue, if you will, being a good reason to get a new Black Panther in there. You could have, an incursion level event comes in. Another universe collides with ours, like the Miles Morales universe, right? They did that. I love Miles. I know you're not a big fan.
No, it's not about Miles. It's about the multiverse. Like, I don't need multiverse in everything, right? I'm good with... Well, let the 616 deal with the 616.
Well, let me give you my reasoning before you say ew, which I'm not wrong with you, but I think for Black Panther, you're going to need it. I think that's how we're going to get the new Black Panther. You're going to get a new casting for Black Panther. This world's Black Panther is gone. The two universes collide and combine, right? Like the secret universe or whatever you want to call it, right?
Yeah.
And that Black Panther is like, my Wakanda was destroyed, and I couldn't do anything about it. I want to be better than I was. I remember a lot of these decisions. You get a new actor, boom, you have a new Black Panther. And then you can move forward. I think right now we're in a stage in the Marvel universe where it's a weird balance between setting up new characters, restating the status quo, and I don't want to say fixing or repairing old stuff, but you kind of have to do that. You got to like readjust course. And I think we're in this weird flux of a period that we don't know what's going to happen until these bigger movies come out, but those aren't going to happen for a couple of years. I think we're all left here sitting and waiting for Marvel to give us some answers, and we're not going to get that for a couple of years, unfortunately.
I too think eventually you're going to have to recast. I don't think you can do a Black Panther without Black Panther. I don't understand. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm not smart enough to figure it out. I don't know how you call it Black Panther or any type of the Black Panther medium without the key character there.
Yeah.
How many Batman have there been, right? How many Superman have there been? You recast. I know the situation is really dark and really different than kind of any other superhero casting, but eventually for the character to move forward, you're going to have to recast, whether you do that with the multiverse situation, like you said, could be a character that lost his world and it's like, I'm coming here because I know the same thing is happening here and I can stop it. Now I know how to stop it. I couldn't stop it on my world, but I can stop it on this. I was thinking more of Wakanda being the center point for, hey, Atlantis wants your vibranium.
Okay.
Namor's coming. Different factions. Sokovia wants to rebuild. They want your vibranium, and they're blaming the Avengers for it. It becomes that central point of kind of like the brink of a world war in the 616, and how do you kind of stop that from going on? I'm interested in seeing how that plays out, and I also think the overall, Rob, you have something there there are some movies and stuff that are coming in that are still going from the originals, right? Thor is getting his 4th film. Guardians 3 is going to come out. Hulk's going to be around. There's no, Cap 4 is coming out, but it's Sam Wilson. And then there's all this question mark new stuff. How do you blend the old with the new and go forward? I think you have to learn from your mistakes. Mm-hmm. I think with the event, there's no Avengers right now.
No.
They don't exist. Perhaps that's because the Fantastic Four are going to be the team for a while before the Avengers all come back together. The X-Men are going to be the focal point for a while before they all get back together. I don't know. I don't think what we saw is going to be the future. I don't think it's going to be Patrick Stewart. I don't think Black Bolt's going to be a part of this. I think that was purely fan service for that Illuminati stuff, so that it was familiar to people who watched it. But I think there is something there where it's, hey, we need to learn from our mistakes. Who's better than Doctor Strange, who's lived through all of this and 14 million different versions of this, to kind of show us the way forward as he's trying to fix the multiverse and get this world back on track.
Well, guys, we want to hear your thoughts and theories down in the comments below. What you think of the Illuminati, and what does the Illuminati mean for the future of Marvel?
Hey, guys, thanks so much for watching. Give us a thumbs up, really helps the channel out a lot. If you're new, subscribe, turn on notifications. You don't want to miss any more of our conversations, especially about the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And if you missed anything, it's always right here on the channel. And as always, I'm Chris Heller. That's Rob Moran. We're the Jersey Comic Crew, and we will see you next time.